let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about Lady Ballers. Tyler.
Yeah. So I want to know, first off, how did they reach out to you? Why did you decide to do this movie?
Well, I owe them a lot of money. So,
Okay.
no, I did a Western movie with them. I did a Terror on the Prairie, which was their first, I think their first feature film. And that was not funny at all. It was a gory film where Gina Carano's getting...
How'd you get casted in that?
They found me on Instagram.
But as a comedian, they said, "Oh, we want you to play this."
They had me audition, so
Okay.
they sent me a DM and were like, "Do you want to audition for this Gina Carano movie?" And I was like, "All right, sure." Got in that film, and then I've done like all of their projects since then.
Are you in Pendragon?
I'm not in
Not
Pendragon.
that one. Yeah.
I still can't believe. I just realized that they're making a Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's gonna be
adaptation.
wild. Yeah,
That's
Every genre.
I know, because I've seen Brett Cooper in Europe like constantly, and I'm like, what are they doing? I mean, she's in there forever, but now this. I mean, and it's gonna be a series. Good for them.
whole
I'm
series.
just. That's a huge undertaking. I'm just blown away.
yeah. Well, they want to compete with like Netflix and stuff, so they got to start cranking it out.
Yeah, they really.
We did
do.
that, so I have that and an animated series that came out today.
So you have other acting experience for long before this. How has this experience been different from all of that in Hollywood?
Well, in Hollywood, it's usually it's SAG, so it's a union,
Yeah.
right? So there's very strict rules. There were no rules, you know?
No mask
There was
mandate.
No, yeah. So the first film, Terror on the Prairie, no mandates, none of that crap. So that was great. And then they're also hiring people based on who they like and talent, and they're not doing the whole diversity, race, and gender. And
I know. Are there any black people in this movie?
Of course not. No, there are.
Okay, good. Yeah.
there
Plenty.
There are.
Well, I'm so anti-affirmative action. I've been a victim of it too, but I still do think that it's not bad to represent different. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but when a movie is all white people, it's kind of annoying. You know, you do need a little speck of pepper in there.
Unless that's who the best actors
Yeah,
were.
I mean, if it's like a Viking, Nordic people, I get why they should all be white. But like in a real life scenario, yeah, I'm happy they're throwing an Asian guy
One of the
in there
reasons
every
they
once
get
in a
so mad about that stuff is you never hear those complaints when Denzel Washington is cast, because Denzel Washington is an amazing actor.
He's a good
right?
actor.
So a lot of times what it is they feel like other people were overlooked for something where they're wondering, why is this guy so special in lieu of somebody who's more talented? You're never going to hear that. You're not going to hear it for Samuel L. Jackson. You're not going to hear it for him. You might hear it for Will Smith now, just because everybody's so mad at Will Smith these days and they feel so bad for him. But I want to talk to you about comedy, because one of the things we were talking about is the fact that in Hollywood, and Jeremy kind of mentioned this when they were talking about last night, is comedy in a lot of ways died after a certain period of time in Hollywood. I know that Todd Phillips, who directed the movie Joker
And Hangover.
and Hangover, said that one of the reasons he went on to make a movie like Joker was because he just couldn't make the comedies that he wanted to make now, because Hollywood just isn't going to allow it. Do you think that that is something that can be solved in our lifetime? Like, is that something that we're going to be able to fix culturally? Because that's what they're talking about with these movies, is we want to change the culture. We want to push back. Will making a movie like this from the Daily Wire force, because one of the best things you can do is create competition.
Yeah.
If you start making movies that inspire people to do things as well, you can hopefully help them get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start, because if this does really well,
Yeah.
and it will, but there's so many things that Hollywood has to reverse now, because they came out and said it. You need a certain amount of X, Y, and Z to get an Oscar now. I mean, they have to roll back on a lot of things that they doubled down on, because to make a good comedy, you can't have any rules. You can't have any rules about jokes or who you offend or what you do. So they're gonna have to grow a big pair, and if they don't, then it's up for grabs. Anybody, me and Stein can make a movie, next month and put it on YouTube, and it can get 1 billion views just because there's no other comedy movies.
Part of that, I suppose, is also the distribution methods have changed. Like, people don't have to go to theaters anymore to get their entertainment.
Yeah.
You don't judge a movie based on how well it did at the theater. You judge it by how many views it got or whether it has cultural significance. And I think that that's something that good comedy would help find, because this movie has a message. It does have its own... it has what was the term that Jeremy used? He says it's good to laugh at the absurd.
But the most important thing is if this makes money, that's what these other studios want.
That's what moves the needle. That's what moves the needle.
Yeah, I was watching an old episode of the X-Files files, and Kumail Nanjiani's talking to Chris Weitz, who did American Pie.
And Kumail's on steroids.
Yes. Yeah, And I was like, everyone's like, oh, look at him, he's in such good shape. And I was like, his job was to get in shape to do that movie because he was doing a Marvel movie, right? But basically, he's saying that like back at that time period, studios took the wrong lessons. We were talking about this a little bit earlier in our review. That studios took the wrong lessons from these things, and he's talking about how instead of making movies about a coming of age story like American Pie was, it became about crude humor. So the studios took the wrong lessons from it, and that was just a couple of years removed from when comedy seemed to be killed off from Hollywood completely, but you had a golden age of comedy movies that came out in that time period, whether it's The Hangover, which was done by Todd Phillips.
Sure.
And one of the hallmarks of that is no rules.
Well, there was a rule. In The Hangover, in the second one, in the tattoo scene when they're in Bangkok, Todd Phillips wanted it to be Mel Gibson, and this is right after Mel Gibson had gotten canceled for, saying all that anti-whatever he said. I forget what he said. The N-word or something about Israel. I forget what it was, but he got canceled. And I love Zach Galifianakis. He's probably one of the greatest comedic actors of our generation of the last 10, 15, 20 years. But I think he stood up against it. I think Bradley Cooper stood up against it, and they said they didn't want to be in a movie.
So once you make these little concessions, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You slowly do that, and you go, all right, well, you can't have a white guy playing this role that maybe an Asian would play, or if you're not disabled, you can't play a disabled. So now they've kind of fucked themselves.
Well, in a way, though, the dwarfs in Snow White, remember how they were in the new remake of it, they weren't going to use dwarfs, and then they went back because they got so much flack. So I guess there is something about casting the right character. If the guy's Asian, cast an Asian guy.
Now they're trying to like walk that back and say they were always going to do that.
But I thought they had casted the actors that were like bi, trans, and you know what I'm talking about? You saw that famous picture.
And they weren't tiny.
No, they were not.
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
one
there
of them was
was one.
shorter.
That's because of Peter Dinklage,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he
said
they say he's terrible to other actors trying to break in.
Yeah, he
other
was like,
dwarfs
it shouldn't be a dwarf. And meanwhile, he's cashing in on all these roles.
He said, it plays into the stereotype that people with dwarfism live in caves.
I was like, what
They
the hell
do.
did that
Maybe
stereotype?
What does that even
He's trying to
mean?
steal all the roles.
Do.
Yeah.
We also live under bridges. We live in all
Can we
sorts of
expect
places.
you to be one of the dwarves in the Daily Wire Snow White movie then?
Oh, they should
As a
have.
short
That's such a
king?
good idea.
I mean,
There are rumors that Peter Dinklage is an asshole, though.
they're not rumors. It's just the truth.
I think he is an asshole.
I mean, I kind of expect that. Like there's something actually I like about the idea of an actor who's just open about being an asshole, though. Like I don't want you. Don't pretend to me like
no,
you're
but he's a preachy
It's
a-hole.
like, but it's like Gwyneth Paltrow when we're like we laugh at the fact that she just looks disconnected from normal men and women because she's so rich and she doesn't pretend to try to fit in with the rest of the world. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, there's something cool, but I also think it's cool when the guy's a millionaire and he drives like a truck.
Yeah.
I mean, drives like a Toyota or whatever. I kind of like that.
I don't like that.
You don't like that? I like that.
Unless you really, that's the car you want to drive. But go spend your money. You made the money. Go do what you want.
But it's like Warren Buffett, his bit, he'd drive like a beat up truck and, he's a multi-billionaire.
It feels fake.
I
It
like
feels
that
fake.
bit. See, I drive a crappy car. I could buy a much nicer car and I drive a 4Runner. I bet I have like 2 or 3 cars, not like trying to brag. They're in a truck and I have a nicer one. But my point is, I do think I guess this is why I'm like this. I'm anti-materialism. I mean, I know you see because I'm wearing like a jacket.
Yeah, but the amount of money it takes to even do this, or it's wherever you want to.
Yeah, whatever you want to
money.
spend your money on. Yeah, you want to buy a fancy watch or car.
Yes, you're holding cash.
It's just that I feel
really-
like
This is what I think of money. It's pointless, worthless, all fake.
when they do that, it comes across as fake to me, like they're pandering to.
Oh,
to
that's
an
what it comes
audience.
across.
Okay, I'll tell a story. So when Eric Trump was here and he comes in, now from what I understand, he's actually that guy.
Supposedly
right?
those guys fly Spirit and stuff.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's when, and I see him and he's got the flannel shirt on like that. I'm like, bro, you're the son of a billionaire. Put on a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand that's judgmental, and it's my first response. I don't actually feel that way, but when I see it, my alarm bells go off because it's kind of like you're playing a role to fit in with whoever you're around. Is he going to dress like that all the time, or is that person going to then put on something nicer when they're around other people? Because then you're just a chameleon who just changes what you look like based on the people you're around. That makes you a sociopath.
and that's why people love that Trump is unapologetically leaning into that like elitist but still middle brow gilded aesthetic, like of American opulence and prosperity and wealth.
See, I love the
Like
way
everything's in gold.
I love the way Adam Sandler dresses.
You do?
Yeah.
What about
I mean-
Billie Eilish then?
Well, Billie Eilish has like titties and weird stuff. I mean,
Have you ever seen that? There's this really funny Instagram series where this lady says it's a game and it says like Adam Sandler or lesbian, and it's picture cutouts and it says like, is this Adam Sandler or is this a lesbian? And you have to guess.
I love eating the box, you know.
So you got to figure out which one it is. You got to figure out, are you looking at Adam Sandler or are you looking at a lesbian? And
he's
then-
wearing size XXX basketball shorts everywhere.
Actually, that's a movie that I liked in the last couple of years. He had a movie called Hustle on Netflix where he plays a basketball coach. That's really, really good.
I didn't see that one. Was it good?
Yeah,
though?
no, he was a scout for I forget the team he played for. It was one they actually used in
Uncut
the-
Gems, dude. I couldn't even finish that movie. It was so
Too-
intense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
like-
like.
racing.
fantastic.
No, it's great. I mean, I ended up having to watch it, but it took
God,
me 2
he's a good
times.
actor.
Yeah, no, it was really
See,
good.
SNL used to hire comedians that could also be incredible actors.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I couldn't imagine any of these fucking.
It wasn't
losers.
Eric, right? It was Don Jr. I was thinking of earlier. I think it was somebody said
Not
Eric.
sure.
I think it was Don Jr. It was one of them. But the point is,
But even Eric, I'm not sure. Laura, his wife, is really down to earth. I don't know. They do seem like they're a little down to earth. Not
We're
trying to,
also,
like-
I mean, you're in the middle of the woods. If he throws a flannel on it,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of fitting.
that makes sense. You're right.
so yeah, like I would like to see. What would you like to see the Daily Wire do next as far as genre? Like so they've done Terror on the Prairie, which is a western. They've done the Hyperions wasn't really theirs, right? They bought the
licensed
They bought
Hyperions.
it, yeah.
They bought that one. So like, what genre would you guys like to see them do next?
Well, now if I was pitching, if I was like had a meeting with Jeremy, you need to do like a Big Brother Survivor-esque reality show
That'd be
because
so
it'd be
cool.
so cheap to do, and I don't know, you'd have like conservatives versus liberals on there or something, some gimmick. I just think that reality TV should, not that they got to do it that, but that's the only medium I don't think they've done yet. Because I was just on a show. I say a show. I'm friends with the guy. You guys know Sam Hyde, and Sam Hyde's a badass. He did his own.
Fish Tank.
Right.
He did his own Fish Tank reality show,
Yeah.
and season 2 is about to come out, and I'm going to go on that. But I think there's just something so, and it is like voyeuristic and weird, but there is something cool about like just putting strangers in a house and making them interact with each other.
yeah. What would you like to see them do next?
I think they should just let me make my own movie.
Yeah.
I think my genre, that genre.
Yeah.
So you have a screenplay already.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas for movies.
Would you want to make a comedy or a dramedy or what kind of?
I mean, you know, I would love to do a George Carlin biopic, play
Yeah,
George
that would be
Carlin, you
sick.
know, and
Wow.
go through his whole aging process.
That would be incredible.
Because I think he's very relevant right now.
Yeah.
He'd
I
be
have to
a
get
good
the
one
rights
too
to it.
because he's a good middle ground. Like he's a good
Yeah.
example of what it used to be when somebody was just anti-establishment.
Yeah.
And didn't
Yeah.
Not political, not
he
overtly
criticized
political.
both sides
Yeah.
of the aisle very, very well. And doing a film like that would be hard to get right, I think, because I think especially if you're a political company or if you're a company that's got its start in politics, you're going to feel a little bit of an itch to lean it into. You know, you don't even have to do it consciously. Just by what aspects of his career or bits you choose to show can
Yeah,
lean it.
that's why
towards
you
your-
give me the money to go make the movie, and then I bring you the movie.
Can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Birchum?
Oh yeah, Birchum. Birchum. It looks fantastic. That's Adam Carolla. He's starring in.
Well, I meant to ask you this earlier. Are they having guys in China draw it all? Because that, I mean,
No,
that
they're
is,
doing it in Spain. It's fantastic.
they are doing. So
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Spain, they're drawing it.
Yeah, they're all in Spain.
People don't realize how hard that is.
Unbelievably hard.
They have to draw every scene
Yep.
by hand, and a lot. Usually, they people in like Korea or Japan or China, and so they can, because it's just.
It
such
looks like you know, Family Guy or
Yeah.
King of the Hill. It looks incredible. So Adam Carolla plays a woodshop teacher in this kind of woke new middle school, and I play the Jedi officer, justice, equity, diversity, inclusion officer. So I'm just this
Okay.
douchebag in a man bun going around enforcing all of these things on the teachers and kids. It looks really funny. It looks really funny. I think the
Unfortunately,
trailer
the
will be
trailer's
out
not out
Monday.
yet.
I tried to have them send it to me. I was like, hey, I could play it on
Well, we don't know
Tim
if
Pool
we're
right
even-
now.
And they didn't have it ready for you.
They said no.
We don't know if we're allowed to do that.
No,
so.
they asked us to hold off on the review until later tonight. We got that
Yeah.
coming out tonight at 8 p.m. Our review
Yes.
for Lady Ballers will be up
okay.
for tonight.
Wait, is that when it comes out,
slow
April?
down, slow down. You guys went and saw it 2 days ago, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they told you to wait to put out your review? Don't you just...
That's not uncommon.
Is that not... I would thought industry...
Oh, it's because it's not out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all big Hollywood movies, don't they always wait? Don't they...
Depends.
As soon as a critic watches it, don't they usually write it?
It depends. So different studios take different approaches to this. It's also different because it's streaming, not a theater release. So for theater releases, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have a social media embargo, which goes up. You're allowed
Because
to
I would
earlier.
think that you would want them
Yeah.
y'all to be talking about it before it comes out, but I guess
it's,
not.
Well, we're
guess-
talking about it right now.
I guess they'll talk about it's on late night. They'll talk about it, but they'll say I can't say too much. They'll show a clip or something. They should have had you show a clip. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just surprised for like wait 2 days. You'd think that it would just be better if you guys were talking about it more for the last 2 days.
I actually enjoyed being able to review it a little bit later because I was able to sit with it for a while. And one of the hard things is like when you're reviewing movies, a lot of times it's like when we go, we have to take notes, and we didn't take notes because we didn't want to like
Look
be
weird
on my
in the-
phone doing
yeah.
this in the theater
After
which
they
is really-
expressly told us
does
not to.
Yeah, but so like I had to like as soon as the movie was over, I looked down at my phone like and I'm writing down all the things.
I would
that
have had my
did.
wise boyfriend with a video camera so we could bootleg
Okay,
it.
no,
Post the shaky cam
This was
footage.
my idea, which I wanted. I should have pitched them. I wanted to grab like 20 seconds in the theater with my phone like this, and then post it on the channel and put like ripped copy of.
There's no way
Lady
that would
Ballers,
be
and
approved.
it's just 20
Well,
seconds
I filmed
long.
the trailer to Birchum. I actually filmed it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't.
Don't
do
show
that. I
it.
don't
We're
wanna
gonna get in trouble.
We're
though.
gonna get in trouble. All right, so. I think what they should do next. I like one of the other examples. Somebody said they should make a Christmas movie because you don't see a lot of
Yes.
really good Christmas movies.
Yeah, that'd be
these
good.
days.
Yeah, Hallmark has like they kind of have the.
They're gonna have it on a chokehold, but
Yeah.
Well, that-
Great American Family is also making Christmas movies. So
Yeah.
in a way, that's kind
Well,
of
that's what it
covered.
is. Isn't Great American Family Hallmark now?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
another
The people
thing-
who did an exodus from Hallmark
Hallmark.
when they went woke.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.